Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast. Sean Higgs coming at you here. It's Thursday, the 19th of June. And on a Thursday, Doug Upstone, Chirimbes is joining me for 3 MLB winners coming up in just 1 minute. But you're here. So let's hit the like button here on the YouTube channel. Notification bell on so you know each and every day we roll out the free picks. It might be baseball right now, but right around the corner, we're a month, 6 weeks away from the Hall of Fame game. Basically 2 months away from week 0. Really, it's, what do we get? We're done with hockey. We got an NBA game left. It's all MLB right now on the Gamblers World. I shouldn't say that. I should not say it's all because we have WNBA.
Thank you.
We got CFL.
Thank you.
Yes, I forgot who I'm talking to here. We got Mr. W, Mr. CFL, golf, horses. There's other things. Yes, and they are free picks are free picks. Gamblersworld.net for our premium stuff. WNBA. I'll let the guys talk about the WNBA, but I'm going to talk about 10% off flash sale today. Any package, daily, weekly, seasonal, you want to jump on something long-term, 10% off at gamblersworld.net. As always, 3-7-30 packages guaranteed. Show you a profit or we credit you back. Day pass is $69.99, which random days, you can look around. I think they're more for, with everything wrapped up, that'll be more of a football kind of thing to do on a Saturday and Sunday with multiple packages. Because looking today, I see a couple things up right now from the gents. We got a little NBA Megabucks. We got some MLB from Megabucks from Mr. NBA Chip Chirimbes, MLB from Doug. Single packages at gamblersworld.net. I'm going to throw it to Chip right now, just to see how he's been the last couple of days. What do you got going on, fella?
Well, you know something? We talked the other day about why you aren't attracted to the WNBA. The inconsistency and the level of play. And I had a 5-game winning streak snapped by a half a point. I had Las Vegas getting 13.5, had a 14-point lead in the half. Now, Sean, I was thinking of you. In the third quarter, the Aces, who played in the championship game last year, scored 13 points, and they topped that out by scoring only 10 in the fourth quarter. 23 points in a professional basketball game in the second half of the season. Sean, I have to digress. You might be right about that, but there's always a winner. There's always a winner out there somewhere. I mean, so the WNBA, don't be afraid of it, and the CFL, don't be afraid of it with Doug, because I think we both have those things cornered. By the way, the Megabuck plays, one tonight in the NBA, are at 67% for the playoffs. Very consistent. We've been that way all the way around. And the WNBA is 69% on the year. So that's how I'm looking at this week and this weekend right now. And the NBA may be over tonight, so you got to make money somewhere. And there is still basketball, WNBA.
That's a 23 points in the second half.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Professionals.
That's I want to say it's entering your overtime kind of woes when we get into stuff like that. That is the equivalent of losing games late when you just need a handful of points. You can't get anything.
And this game's a perfect example of why I don't like partial scores or halftime scores, because you're sitting there and I'm saying, oh my goodness, I'm 21-6 now. I'm 21-6 and I'm ready to make tomorrow's ad already. And then you get the final and I'm ready to throw up. And it isn't 21-6 now. It's 20-7. So.
Well, speaking of partial scores, that reminded me of the old George Carlin joke. Partial score: Baltimore 24.
Right. Exactly.
George Carlin.
Yeah.
So the
half the audience don't know who George Carlin is. Probably more than
come on. Really?
I think most people, probably those in their 20s or maybe early 30s, might not. Okay. But probably have seen him on YouTube.
But his most famous bit were the 7 words you can't say on TV,
right?
Which are now staples as far as the broadcasting goes.
For the most part,
ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So
don't say them, Chip.
Nice 2-0 day yesterday, so happy with that in baseball. The other game was rained out, so that's playing today, and it was on my list. I think that game's just about ready to go, as a matter of fact. So I have that. Hockey, fantastic season. I wish I could maybe I'll just give out hockey picks, during the off season, just to see if I can continue to win. So great season. The most amount of profit I've ever had in any hockey season, and the second best win percentage in any season. And the reason primarily that was because the first year I had a really good season, I only gave out 40 picks. that I came up with it. So with the system I had. Anyways, so yeah, fantastic hockey season. So now I want to turn this around for baseball, get something cooking here. And let's say good start yesterday. We'll see what today brings and get some stuff. And I have been, well, two things. I've been not critical. I have just say gone against Sean about talking about football, but I will say, because I also am a writer at not only at Gamblers World, but other places, I've already done 2 Big Ten futures articles, 2 SEC futures articles, and just completed an SEC one and wrapping up a Heisman Trophy winner. Okay. Who's going to win the Heisman? So I know what's going to happen there too. So yes, Sean, I am ready for some football, even though I'm not looking forward to it just yet.
I've already bet 6 college football games for week 0, week 1. I did a little bit, not a lot of money, but I just threw some. A couple of sites I put them on, they were up. I'm like, you know what? They're up. Let me add them up. See how we do. But
so 6 out of 16 or 6 out of 60 are you going to go to first weekend? I just wondering.
We'll see. I mean, 6 so far. Could be more. We could get another 4-pack in. There could be 10 piece for the week.
So are you going to have a great closing line value like Brad Powers then does by doing this?
You
have to understand the joke, but that's actually a joke. But for those understand inside football stuff,
right?
Now that people like, well, a win's a win, but he's a guy who moves on a bunch of things in May and June when the lines come out, which is fine. Most people don't do that because the average person doesn't have 2 nickels rubbed together for 5 months, right? They're not thinking that way. They're thinking about same game parlays on May 7th in the NBA, not a future. But if you make money, these lines move. I mean, you see the lines when they open up. Same with NFL, right? The lines come up, they move a couple points. You can find something. It's worth it. Now, this is, again, week 1 is week 1. You don't get that. I don't really jump into week 17 in August, but for NFL, I'm definitely on the week ahead of time before the game's played in week 1. I'm on week 2.
The only thing that doesn't make sense to me about, and I respect Brad's ability, especially as a writer, particularly with his newsletters in years past, but talking about having line value in May on a game that changes 10 points in November, I don't know. That doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah, but I found the college predictions on those national games for the whole season, them rather interesting because you see some major swings.
Yes.
Well, that's
you can take 10, 15 points easily.
Yeah, and it can go for or against you.
Right.
That's the other element.
But that's why they're not huge bets, probably for a guy. For him, maybe a couple $100. But if you catch half of them, you're going to make a little, you'll
be 50-50.
Let's be honest, most guys like that, they're looking for a middle, right? They're betting enough money where they have plus 11,
right,
minus 6, and they're in the wheelhouse to have a nice payday. That's what that's about. And again, it comes back to the people watching free pick. They're not doing that. They're not locking them. You can't get people to bet a win total for 4 months. You can't, they're not doing 7 months out of the way. But I don't mind more of the week ahead of time. Like, okay, it's NFL week 1 starting. I'm already on week 2.
Right.
For that Thursday game, I'm going to have week 2 games then because as a bettor, you're thinking how it's going to play out already. You already think XYZ for week 1 because you already bet those games. So you already have an opinion on how that Sunday is going to be. So you should be on to the next week. Short of the quarterback getting knocked out, the line should not be all that crazy, right? They should not vary, but they do based on what people say. That's how you make money in football.
Sean, don't you really have to have a good feel and be right on your selections in week 1 and after those games are over to be into week 2? Do you know what I'm saying? In other words, the performances in week 1 might skew or change your attitude toward week 2, and you're already in week 2 before they've even played week 1. Am I right?
No, yes, but I'm thinking week 1, Team A is going to play this way and beat up on Team B. So the next week, I know that Team A is going to be inflated.
You don't know that they're going to beat up on that team before they played.
Well, I know that because I already bet them.
You assume it, but you don't know that. You don't know that.
But why would you even bet the game if you didn't think that was going to happen, Chip?
Well, I don't understand why you would bet the week 2 when you think you know the results are going to happen in week 1 and they haven't yet. And I'm waiting for it to unfold myself because I let them. I try not to sit and let the games come to me. In other words.
I think anything.
Yeah, I think your logic is right, John. The only thing I would, I guess, a little bit disagree with, I would wait a few weeks. I'd get 3 games under the belt to where I have a feel for the teams. That's the only thing I would do differently myself. But you've done it for a long time. You like to do it. Okay, you believe you understand it, so that's what works for you, and that's what sports betting is all about: finding something that works for you.
A winner's a winner anywhere you can get it.
Yep.
That's it. And that's what the CLV joke is. It won, whether you got it at -3 or -6 and it win by 10, it's still a winner. You won. Speaking of winners, we've got 3 of them coming up. Let's jump right into it, fellas. We're talking football. People are like, football? What are you talking about? It's MLB. Let's go. Doug, big interleague winner tonight. Again, was real, but let's talk about this matchup here with San Diego and the Dodgers regular NL West battle. I took a donut yesterday here with San Diego and the over. I had them as a premium. I couldn't get either of them. Here comes Yamamoto, pedestrian of late with his numbers. 270 against the Burger here. You look at these numbers. Burger's been okay, right? He goes out there. He's a bullpen guy, gets his starts, 4 or 5 innings all the time, gives up a run or two. Is it worth taking a 230 spot here with them? I don't know, man, because the Dodgers, to me, I don't care who's pitching. They're scoring runs. As much as, and I said this yesterday, so I get on the Dodgers for being overrated, not that good because of the pitching, and they can't do this and that. You know what they do? They win games. They score a bunch of runs. I can't do a 270 run line, possibly, but a 270, no thank you. Yamamoto, I got a Cy Young ticket. I'm biased. Your game, what do you got here for us in the freebie?
Well, on Monday, I said that I thought this series was going to be big for the Padres. Okay, they had a chance. They needed to win at least 3. Well, guess what? They've lost the first 3. Okay, so once again, the Padres are showing their true colors. A talented team that wins a lot of games, but like the Edmonton Oilers, they don't come through in the clutch. Okay, and so this continues to be a problem. They were in position to win 2 different games in this series. Yep. They didn't do it, and so it's hard to beat any team of any quality. Well, maybe the Rockies would be the one exception, but 4 in a row, okay, in a series. So that's difficult to do. But look at who the Padres have faced in terms of starting pitchers. They faced Ohtani for 1 inning. They have also faced Sheehan yesterday. They faced Dreyer the day before, and that's not Dreyer's ice cream, by the way. That's the guy's actual last name, the pitcher, okay, on this one. So you got that. You got Yamamoto going. So what do I think that the chances are for the Padres today? Well, in the immortal words of Al from Tim the Toolman Taylor, I don't think so, Tim, okay, on this one. So Ryan Burger, hey, like you said, Sean, he's pitched well, but Padres, they've lost 10 out of 13 to the Dodgers. To me, the money line's off, way off. I think the best value play, because even if you're wrong, is to take the run line at around -135 to 140. And I think somehow, some way, they get a run late, the Dodgers do, to put the game away against a sinking Padres bullpen. So officially, I will take the Dodgers on the 1.5 run line over San Diego.
I'm seeing a 130 right now in the run line for LA.
All the best.
And you're right. Ohtani for an inning. Sheehan went and pitched in over a year. We call up Dreyer to throw some innings at you. And yet here now you face the ace of the team. And as you mentioned, 10 to 13 losses. This is the team that last year was competitive versus the Dodgers, which is why I kind of thought I liked the Padres to win a couple here with you. I was with you. I thought they'd scrape a couple out versus some guys making debuts, basically. You had 2 guys making debuts. Couldn't get a win. Not good. Chipper.
Well, you mentioned for the Dodgers on offense are a juggernaut. They're averaging over 5.5 runs a game. And, they're giving up 4.5 runs a game, which is kind of high for a team that you expect to make it into the playoffs and World Series. You mentioned the numbers here. San Diego is 18 and 22 at home, which is 45%. The Dodgers are winning at a 70% clip at home. They've won 28 of 40. San Diego overall is just, they got off to that great start. They're not playing well. You said they've lost 10 of 13 to the Dodgers, and they've lost 10 of 14 overall. And I just, the San Diego team just seems to be the same every year, where you have that flash and you have that look, and everyone's talking about the potential of this team, and they just don't seem to get there. And right now, I'll tell you the truth, I even like the Giants better with the acquisition of Devers. And this game, I think, goes over the total. You're going to have a number of different pitchers for the Padres, and nine's a pretty high number considering Yamamoto with a 2.64 ERA. And of course, he's got some Cy Young support. But he's 0-1 with an ERA of 12 against his team. So I expect plenty of runs to happen today, Sean. And good luck with that Cy Young vote, our bet anyway. What odds did you get? What was the number on that? Would you get 7-1, 10-1?
15 to 1.
15, okay. Just wondering.
I figured he's on a team he should have 18 wins with that offense.
Well, he's 6-5, but a 2.6 ERA. You would think he would be like 9-3 or something with that record.
It's listen, he's got 14 starts. We double that. Maybe he wins 17 games. Maybe he gets a couple, who knows?
Oh, you got a legitimate shot. You got 2/3 of the season left. So,
yeah, it's possible. We never know. We've seen him give Cy Youngs to guys who win 12 games. So why not if he puts up the numbers?
Yeah.
Puts up the numbers. Chip likes the over, and I think that's good for Doug's run line because the Dodgers should put up some runs here themselves. Official pick, Dodger run line minus to 130 from Doug Upstone. It's his free pick. Go get his interleague winner right now at gamblersworld.net and 10% off. Go get it. 10% off site wide. Can't beat it. Now, game number 2. Chip Chirimbes here. The Mets and the Braves. Strider. Here's another guy coming back. We talked about Sheehan, Ohtani getting his start. Strider's making his 5th, 6th start back here from his injury. He's been pedestrian at best. We use that kindly here. Holmes has been great. I'm sure the Yankees would love to have this guy as a starter. They let him walk. This is one of the reasons why I said, you know what, give me a Mets under for the year, because I'm like, you're taking a guy who's close for 5 years, make him a starter. How good could he be? Well, he's been pretty darn good for the Mets, Mr. Holmes.
Yeah.
His last 4 starts, 1-3, 1-1, and runs allowed. We go back to start of May, 2-4, 1-3. 8 games, that's like 2 runs a game. Pretty good. And here come the Braves. Shutout last night with the win. Both teams kind of under squads. I said I wanted to take the Mets every game in this series because I thought they could maybe steal the game. It choked one away, game 1. They get shut out by Sale because you threw Blackburn out there. McGill got hurt. Is it worth a shot here? Are the Braves? Are they back? Going to put the Mets 5 in a row? Keep adding to their dilemma here? Keep adding up the losses for the Mets? What do you think, Strider and the Braves, Jim?
Can Atlanta get back in the race? Just when we thought they might have been able to get there after overcoming their 0-7 start, they get to 500, then they lose 10 of the next 11. Right now, they're doing a mini comeback, is the Atlanta Braves. They've won 5 of their last 6. And, injuries have been a major part of say, their downfall or their struggles. Spencer Strider, this guy was averaging more strikeouts than anyone else per innings pitched. 1-5 with an ERA of 4.3. But he is 4-1 lifetime against the Mets with an ERA of 5.58. Now, Clay Holmes, last year he drove the Yankee fans nuts with blown saves. I think he led the majors in blown saves. He had more opportunities than anyone else. And he came to the Mets because he wanted an opportunity to be a starter. And he's very efficient right now. He's 7-3. His ERA is 2.89. And, just because a guy's in a relief mode, that's someone else's decision. In his mind, he might have considered himself a starter. And, it's like when I laugh sometimes at these draft picks, and you're wondering who's picking these guys. Or, some guys may have a prejudice or a bigotry against an individual player for a different reason, and Holmes never got a chance to start in New York. They didn't think he had a chance. He wanted to, and he's proven to be quite fruitful at the time. I think Atlanta wins this game. I'm going to play against Holmes. I'm going to play on Strider. Atlanta's minus $1,700 on the year with a $100 bet each time out. And I don't know if they can have enough to get back and even climb back into the race. If they can get to 500 by the All-Star game, maybe they have a chance. They do have an added wild card team this year. So I'd take Atlanta here over the Mets. And we'll see. The Mets have been coming a little inconsistent of lately, and I think the Braves, they have to regroup. They won 5 of 6. We'll see what happens.
Free pick, Chip Chirimbes, minus 135. Again, these are free picks. You hear the way Chip's talking. Doesn't mean it's not a premium play for the guy. I put the games out. Sometimes they turn into premium plays. Sometimes they're not. These are the free picks. Braves minus 135 here with Strider on the hill. And again, I think it takes they rush these guys back. I think he's a prime example of guy rushing back because he was on his way to Hall of Fame his first couple of years. This year, it's bumpy. It's going to take him a while getting on track, I think. Doug, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, what a bad week for the teams in the Big Apple, right? I mean, both teams have just been awful. And this one, and the thing, I in theory, I agree with Chip that Atlanta should win the game. But here's the thing. I'm looking at Strider, and he mentioned that he has a winning record against the Mets. But like I said, his ERA is over 5.5. And to me, equally as important, his WHIP is 1.58. Okay, so he's not only giving up hits, he's also giving up walks. Clay Holmes, he was a starter at Pittsburgh, where he was drafted. He first pitched, didn't work out there, went to New York. New York, the biggest problem New York had, he didn't have another pitch. Well, what did he do in the offseason? He worked on another pitch. Now he had another one. That's why he's gotten to be a much better pitcher. So here's what I'm going to do. This is, I think, kind of out of your playbook, Sean, maybe a little bit. I'm going to take the official play will be to take the Mets on the first 5. Okay, first 5 innings. They're plus 114. So if they get a run or two off Strider, I got a shot. But then I'm going to also add, one other element. I'm going to take the Mets at minus 0.5 on the first 5 run line, which has a payout of 150. So if I bet a half a unit on each, if the game's tied, I lose, or it's a push, on that one, but then I'd lose a half a unit. But if I get 2 of them, I pick up 1.32 units, for betting both of them. So I'm going to go that way. Officially, Mets first 5, but I actually got 2 bets on this game.
I like it because Strider has been hit. Mets, nobody's due to break out. We know that, but you're facing a guy who's struggling a little bit. Maybe you do break out after getting shut out. So I like it. I like the look for the first 5 there. Officially, though, Braves minus 135 for Chip Chirimbes. This is his free pick. Gambler's rolled on that for his best bet today. And it's an NBA Mega Buck winner. Go get it. And you get 10% off right now at Gambler's rolled on that. So far, Braves minus 135 from Chip. Dodgers run line minus 130 from Doug Upstone. And here we go. O's and the Rays. We go from some teams that got deep pockets to a team in Tampa Bay that's got to rent out a stadium from another major league club to play baseball. But, man, how about yesterday's game? And this is, we're going to keep this real simple here. Rasmussen's minus 135. The guy's been great at home. 139 batting average against, a 91 whip. They've won 7 of 10. Rays are playing great baseball. You blow an 8-0 lead. I don't know how you bounce back. You've already had enough problems in your last place as it is. You're sending out MLB.com. You click on Charlie Moore, and you know what it says his nickname is? Ground Chuck. Ground Chuck. The guy's got a 6.07 ERA on the year, and he's pitching to a 2.40 ERA his last 3 games. How bad you been, Chucky? You're getting grounded. I'm not going to do 135. I'm going to do Tampa run line plus 150. That's it. You lose like that, I don't think it bounced back. You're in last place. You got problems. Doug, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. And imagine Chip was talking about the losing with the WNBA game. How would you like to have the Orioles last night with the run line?
Mega Buck play.
8-0.
It's 8-0. You got a run and a half. You're up 9.5 runs after 2 innings, and you lose the game. But you know what? It's kind of like watching a house drift down, that floods a river. The house just kind of goes away. Watching it float away. Kind of the same thing. On that was so. Orioles never scored the last 7 innings of the game, and maybe that'll be the game that best describes their season. As it turns out, Charlie Morton is ERA 6.07. It was mentioned. However, 11 games ago it was 10.89. So right. Charlie's on a roll, baby. He used to be a hard thrower. He's a junk baller now. He can only get people out with off-speed stuff. And that Drew Rasmussen, he's won his last 5 starts. The Rays have won 20 of 27. Morton, since last year, now this is the team's record, not his personal record, 1-11 after giving up 1 or less earned runs in his last outing. I'm just going to go. I think that to use the former name of the Rays, I think the Rays give the Orioles a devil of a time on this one tonight.
There you go. More Ray action here. You're going to make it a 3-pack here, Chip?
Well, I'm kind of bummed out, to tell you the truth, because I did have Baltimore as my top-rated megabuck play yesterday, and I only saw the final, Doug, until I looked at the box score this morning, and now you know why I don't like getting the partial score. They would have told me Baltimore 8, and then you get up and you're sick, absolutely sick. But by the way, Doug, I don't know how I feel about you trying to steal my thunder. I'm thinking you had an audition for Hawaii 5-0 with your tropical shirt, and I came back more traditional today. But I like to see you're moving on. It looks great, by the way.
It's a horrendous shirt, but I love it.
You know, I love it myself. Baltimore 11 games under 500. Those rat bastards losing that game yesterday doesn't make me very happy. Tampa Bay, again, no one ever expects them to do what they end up doing, and here they are in the hunt, 8 games over 500. Drew Rasmussen, very consistent, 2.55 ERA, 6-4. It should be better, but that they were very inconsistent offensively at the beginning of the season and have come on of late. And Baltimore, you're minus $1,411 if you put $100 each game. Now, my boy Charlie Morton from Connecticut, 3-7 on the year, but after his 0-7 start, Doug, you were right. His ERA was over 10. His last 3 games, he's 3-0, ERA of 2, 39 Ks in 29 innings. And I thought that was an anomaly for him. He's not really a strikeout pitcher. Like you said, they call him Ground Chuck because he forces you to hit the ball into the dirt. And, he's 4-3 lifetime against Tampa, 2.94 ERA. I think this game stays under the total because Rasmussen has been very consistent. He's 2-0 with a 2.8 ERA against Baltimore. And you have Morton, who's hot now. So both these pitchers are throwing the ball really well right now. And I think the game stays under the 8.5 total. There it is.
I tend to agree with that total look, too. I mean, I think Tampa Bay is winning it, but I kind of like the under based on everything that you said there as well. But officially, I'm going to go run line plus 150. Go ahead, Doug.
No, all I was going to say with a pitcher like Morton, when you mentioned lifetime record, that actually means something.
Yes.
He's pitched a lifetime. The guy's, 41 years old?
41 years old, yes.
Well, he's actually 51, but he was sick a decade, so they didn't count it. He's ancient. I mean, this guy's been pitching since dirt. I don't know. He's just...
Well, at least as long as Justin Verlander, we know that.
How many teams has he been with, too? I mean, he was...
Several.
He's been around few.
Well, he started with the Pirates, I think, Charlie.
I think so, yeah.
He did.
He was a Pirate. He was on Tampa, Stros. Who else?
Atlanta, the Yankees. I don't know if he pitched for the Yankees. Did he pitch for the Yankees?
I think he did.
Actually, You know what? He was Atlanta. He started with Atlanta in 2008. Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Houston, Tampa, back to Atlanta, and now Baltimore. No Yankees.
So 2008 was his first year, so this will make this his 18th year.
Yeah. Crazy.
It's a great career.
He was born in Flemington, New Jersey.
Yeah, he grew up in Canaan, Connecticut.
He did. Reading High School.
There you go.
Third round overall, pick 95.
Reading's on the reservoir in Connecticut on the New York State border. It's a beautiful forest area.
I got a relative up in Madison. They were right on the water. Very nice. Fancy Madison. All right. Run line Tampa Bay official play here for me in the video. Plus 150. Look for a good payday. 26 and 36 with the free picks here in the show. We're a couple games under 500. Little work to do. It's fine. It's June. We'll be all right. These are the free picks. Tampa Bay run line plus 150. Dodgers run line minus 130. Braves minus 135. All right. Free picks. Our best bets are at gamblersworld.net. I've told you this before. Doug's interleague play. Go get it. Interleague winner, 10% off today. You want that? Maybe you want a weekly pass, Doug. Maybe you want Chip's Megabuck winner in the NBA or a weekly pass or a monthly. 10% off anything. You want me? Fine. Gamblersworld.net for all of our best bets. Head over there today. Hit the like button. But before we go, and before you turn notification bells on, before we get back here tomorrow, Chip, take it away this day in sports, 1911.
before that. And I tell you, I have only two things that I want to expound upon, and I'll tell you why, because they are significant. In 1846, on this date, if you know who Alexander Cartwright is, he put down the first official rules of Major League Baseball. And the first professional game was played in Hoboken, New Jersey. Listen to these rules. I'm going to tell you what they were and what the adjustments were from what they were playing prior to this. This is in 1846, 20 years before the Civil War. Bases were now established at 90 feet apart. And pitchers now could not at this time throw overhand. They took a lot of stuff from softball, and the first professional baseball games they were throwing underhand. That's why the final score of the first game was 23-1. He established the foul ball, anything left or right of the first or third base, which had not been established before that. Also, I love this one. If a ball bounced into the stands after hitting in fair territory, it was a ground rule single. Think about that. When the game was first created, it was actually, they said, created by poker players. And there weren't innings, they were called hands. And they weren't outs, they were called counts. And on this date, the rule was instituted that you no longer could hit a runner by throwing the ball and hitting him. You now had to throw the ball to the base or tag the runner. Previously, you could actually throw the ball and hit the runner and he'd be out. Sort of like dodgeball, I guess.
Yes.
They also played at that time because there were no gloves. If you caught a grounder on one hop, it was an out, like a fly ball. So those are pretty unique changes, and that established the modern rules of baseball. And they only played 7 innings at that time. The other significant thing I thought was kind of informative. Anyway, in 1896, Willard Keeler, on this date, set the National League record for consecutive game hitting streak at 45. And you might remember Pete Rose ended up with 44, a game shy. But Pete Rose holds the single season National League consecutive game hitting streak because Keeler's streak started in 1896 and finished in 1897. So Pete Rose holds the single season record, though he doesn't hold the National League record for consecutive games. And I thought it was interesting. I looked up to see other players with the consecutive game hitting streak, it's monumental in sports. 56 games. I mean, you don't think it 2 flyouts and you can walk a guy twice, or that Joe DiMaggio did that was incredible. But Pete Rose, when he got there, was a game shy. He got beat in Philadelphia, of course. Ty Cobb had a 40 and 35 game hitting streak. And next up there, believe it or not, was a guy named Paul Molitor with 39. 3,000 hits, Hall of Famer. And I was kind of surprised at some of these players and their streaks. For example, Jimmy Rollins, who Bobby Valentine told me was a great ball player, 38 game streak. Hornsby had 33. The next guy in line just freaked me out because this guy made 3 errors in an All-Star game, probably made 5. They only gave him 3. His name was Dan Uga. Do you remember Dan Uga when he played second base? With the Mets? 33 game hitting streak. And after that game in the All-Star game, when he made those 3 errors, I don't think he hit 200. His head was shot. It's like blowing the U.S. Open with a 4-stroke lead. But some of these guys, Stan Musial, Albert Pujols, Freddie Freeman, George Brett, 30 game streaks. Personal team best, I went and looked that up. Willie Davis, 31, most for the Dodgers. Benito Santiago, a catcher, 34 game hitting streak with the Padres. And the A's, all time. You have Philadelphia A's, you had the Kansas City A's, you have the Oakland A's. Jason Giambi, a 32 game hit streak.
Really?
Giambino, he's going. And of course, Seattle, Ichiro with 27. San Francisco, who had the New York Giants, and I'm looking for a really great record like a Rube Marquardt, 19 consecutive wins. Didn't happen. Jack Clark with 26 holds that record. And a couple of surprises. Chase Utley with 35. Rico Cardi, Veda Pinson was the fastest guy in baseball when he played. And Vladimir Guerrero had 31 consecutive game streaks. And those are all among the top 20. And they're monumental. I mean, 30 games, and it seems like there was a whole load of them that got to 30 and never got beyond that. Stan Musial and a few others. It's just like in their mind, they reach that point and they go, whew. And it just stops at 30. There's a plethora of lists on that. But I thought that was kind of interesting. Most hits because Pete Rose's streak had stopped. And I was at Shea Stadium the Saturday before when he continued the streak. And then I think he got stopped on Monday in Philadelphia. And Gene Garber was the pitcher to stop Rose's streak. If you might remember, he struck him out. And Rose said, "You think he was celebrating the 7th game of the World Series?"
I'm the Jack Clark one gets me for the Giants. I mean, Jack
I
Clark
read-
was a pretty good hitter.
I remember
You know,
that.
like a 280 power hitter, but you think maybe like Jeffrey Leonard or Will
And-
Clark or somebody.
You know who holds the Oriole record? And I didn't realize, I didn't remember he even played for the team, Eric Davis. And, you know, the thing that was surprising about a lot of these guys on this list is they weren't punching Judy hitters. They were power hitters.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, we don't find Mantle or Mays on this list or Hank Aaron, but some of these guys do play the long ball as well.
Eric Davis would have been a 500 home run, 500 stolen base guy if he was healthy.
He was he was the one that initially reminded me more of Willie Mays than anybody else until Ken Griffey Jr. came around, and they both ended up with the same problems, injuries.
He was great.
And you were Chip. You're talking about the distance, setting up the distance between the bases. One thing that most people actually do not realize, it's known as being 90 feet. Okay, it's not 90 feet between the bases. It's
no,
90.
it's a matter of fact between. Yes, it is between. Well, now it's shorter because they made the bases bigger. But there's it's 42 steps from home to second and 42 steps from first to third acrossways,
right.
And that comes out to 127 feet. It's supposed to be 126, but they give so it's 127 feet, and the pitcher's mound 60 feet 6 inches.
Right.
So between first and third and home and second is longer than going from first to home to first or second to third. And why did you say the bases weren't 90 feet anymore?
Well, this is before, because actually it was measured from center to center. So it actually of the base, it's not from the beginning.
Right.
The distance from base to base, it's not 90 feet.
Right. It's probably
like 88 or something like that. I think.
Yeah, I could see that. I can understand that.
Yeah. I didn't know that till about 5 years ago.
There's a major flaw in baseball, and we always see it happening all the time, where the batter base runner is not running in the design lane because the ball is the base is in fair territory. If you can, why would you be running in foul territory? So the catcher picks up a topped ball and he goes to throw to first and he hits the base runner. Especially, if you're lefty out of the lineup, you move toward. So anyway, I think they have to do something in college. They have a base in foul territory, so that the runner can stay in foul territory. And that makes sense to me.
I agree.
Because this is I've taken advantage of it as a player, and it's so arbitrary because sometimes the throw hits the batter and the batter's definitely in fair territory, and they don't call him out, and he's supposed to be out.
Imagine hey, we could throw the ball and hit you. Imagine getting hit with guys who throw the ball now. They'd just be beaming you in the back. Imagine this guy comes up from right field and just drills you in the back round in second to get you a third base.
It was only 150 years ago that you could throw the ball at the player running the base. So
how many runners now that going to third base, they take the angle for like an outfielder, either a right fielder or a center fielder, they take the angle going right at the third baseman from where the ball's coming from. So the ball, unless the ball is thrown to the third baseman, one side or the other, it's going to hit him or come very close to hitting him.
If as a base runner, if you're looking at the third baseman's eyes, you can see where the ball is coming from, and you try to move in front of him to block his vision or to distract him in some way. But it's I love baseball. What can I tell you?
Right, that's what we're always taught. Throw the ball to the base. You're not throwing it to the glove. Throwing it to the base. You're in the outfield. Throw it to the base.
Right.
All righty. We're going to wrap it up here. Run line. Tampa Bay plus 150. Run line Dodgers minus 130. Braves minus 135. Good luck, everybody. Bye-bye.